One-to-one correspondence counting is often the very first math skill our students need to learn. A lot of our kids know how to put numbers in order, in numerical order, and they're awfully good at memorizing our passwords to get into Amazon or YouTube or places they're not supposed to be. But do they understand that 6 means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 quantity? That's one-to-one correspondence, and that's usually the first place we need to start when we're educating a non-speaking or minimally speaking student. This counting set that's included in our September mini packet will help teach that to your student. I'm going to go over different ways you can use this depending on where your student is skill-wise. If your student is brand new to one-to-one correspondence, or even if they don't know their numbers yet, can't even put them in order, here's where I would begin. First, I want you to find 0, 1, 2, and 3 in the kit and laminate all the sheets, cut them out, and let's use some Velcro so our students can reuse this over and over again as they're learning the concept of numbers. The first thing you want to do is introduce this to your student using errorless learning. First, we have to show them what you expect before they can begin showing what they know. They need to understand what you expect of them and get the motor planning down. So first, you're going to do it, and they are going to pay attention as best they can. Just stay in the room, walk by, and side-eye it every once in a while. Might be all you get out of them, but I would suggest going through these one by one and saying, how many kangaroos are in this picture? 0. And 0 is 0. This number is 0, and it means none. So we have 0 kangaroos in this one. Here we have 1 dinosaur, 1. And this is the number 1. So this one goes here. 1 dinosaur, 1. Let's count the rainbows. We have 1, 2 rainbows. This is the number 2. 2. 1, 2 rainbows. 2. And finally, we have this one. Let's count the trains. 1, 2, 3. This is the number 3. So this one goes here. 3 trains. And that's it. That's your first introduction. They're done. They can leave and go back to YouTube or whatever they were doing before, right? So then the next day, we're going to put these out again, still in order. And you're going to see if they're going to be willing to do any of this. All right, let's look at these again. You remember we did these yesterday, the day before? Let's try them again. All right, how many kangaroos are in this picture? 0. There are no kangaroos, and no means 0. None means 0. So we're going to put the 0 there. Now let's count the dinosaurs. How many dinosaurs are there? There's 1. Can you touch the dinosaur? 1 dinosaur. And do you want to put this on here? You want, no? Okay, I'll do it. 1 dinosaur, 1. Now let's count the rainbows. How many rainbows do we have? 1, 2. Can you touch them? Here, why don't you put your hand on top of my hand and I'll do it, all right? You just hang on. 1, 2. All right, we did it. And do you want to put this on? You do. All right, you put it on there. Great job. All right, now let's do the last one. You want to put your hand on top of mine? All right. 1, 2, 3. 3 trains. And now we're going to put this one on. You want to do it? Ooh, you already know how to do it. You're so smart. Look, we did it. All right. You are going to gradually back off, always kind of encourage them. And the hope is that perhaps by the end of the week, or maybe after a couple weeks, they're going to come up and be like, yep, this right here, boom, I'm done, right? And so they've mastered out of this. Have they learned one-to-one correspondence counting? We don't know that yet, but they're introduced to it. They might get it. We're ready to move on to something else. So after they've kind of mastered those, let's move on to 4, 5, 6. Now we're going to learn these next numbers in the same way we did the first ones. You're going to talk your way, show your way through it. So get your students' interest or paying attention as best that you can, and we're going to go through the same process. All you have to do is watch me this first time. You don't have to make your student participate yet. So we are going to count the leaves. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is the number 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we put this one here. Now we're going to count the teddy bears. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the number 5. So we're going to put the 5 here. And let's count the money. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 gold coins. Let's put the 6 right there. Now we know 4, 5, and 6. And then if your student is interested enough, you can bring back the first ones that we were working on. So sometime during the second week or whenever your student is ready, bring all of the ones that we've learned so far and either just put them in order and let them look at them, or one by one, we can put these together. And you'll continue doing this, adding the rest of them. We have 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then we have this extra 6 that you could get smart and slip that in just to, shake things up a bit, see how your student reacts. So eventually, what we are going to want your student to be able to do is match these with prompting, then with less prompting. They will probably do them in order. My student would have wanted to do these in order, but eventually, maybe not the first time you learn this set, you may have to, your student might get in the motor loop of having to put these in order. And if that happens, that's very common. It doesn't mean that they don't understand. It means that their body wants these in order. So what you would do is put these away for maybe 6 months or so. And then eventually, we're going to get to a point where one by one, you can put these out. And you can be like, all right, let's do this one. Now let's count these together. First of all, when you count with your student, you're going to want to count while they look. 1, 2, 3. Or you're going to want them allow them to put their hand on top of yours and do hand under hand counting with you, saying the numbers 1, 2, 3. Eventually, you're going to want to move to you help your student do the motion or you do the motion, and they're going to be counting in their head. So the first time you do this, you're doing 1, 2, 3. Which one is the letter 3? It's this one. All right, so let's put that there. And you're going to go through them one by one. Maybe we do this one next. All right, let's count these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Which one is the number 6? There it is. All right, put that on there. So go through that with your student, and then eventually we're going to want to silently count. So which number did you get? Yep, that's the one, right? That's the final step of this. Okay, so first we introduce 0 through 3, then add 4, 5, 6, and then add 7, 8, 9, and then have the goal of doing all of them but in order. And then eventually we're going to just pick one by random and see if your student can count and then pick the correct number. This will take them very far toward understanding one-to-one correspondence counting, and they must know how to do this before they can begin addition or subtraction. Now, if your student is using this as review, you want to maybe step back a bit or get a warm-up before you begin your addition or subtraction, or even kind of transition them into doing this sort of thing independently, you don't have to laminate it. You can just cut it out, and one by one, you can count with your student and then ask them which is the correct number. And if they've already been working on this sort of thing, they should be able to match these pretty well, just one by one. You may need to prompt them along the way, but the goal is to be able to go, which one did you get? Yep, that's the right one. Let's do this one. Which one did you get? Yep, that's the right one, right? And so then this is how we can do this as a simple cut and paste exercise. And just so for review or warm up or some independent work. So that's how you can take this a step further. Our counting activity is part of this month's monthly mini packet, a great opportunity for parents to try out homeschool and try out Nonverbal Autism Homeschool curriculum before they purchase our full core curriculum package. This month, in addition to our counting activity that we just learned about, we have flashcards that teach the beginning consonant sound K for the letter C and the letter K. That's a kindergarten skill, much like our counting activity. This is kind of a first grade skill. These are word families, and these work much the way our counting activity did. We also have a science activity teaching what do kangaroos eat. We have a variety of possibilities. We're going to cut those out, sort, and paste them. And then we have an art activity. Even if your student has already mastered the alphabet, this teaches resist art technique, how an artist applies a resist material, such as wax, glue, or crayons in this case, and then we paint over it. So your student is learning real art techniques while also practicing the alphabet. And we have a grid here for you, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel for this one. So this is our $6 low prep kindergarten and first grade level